Good morning, guys. So I'm using two videos, so I'll be looking back and forth. But I hope that you guys are having an amazing morning. So I was looking at my Facebook feed and just scrolling through when I got off of my social media break. And I saw one of my mutual friends or a friend of mine post that they were tired of teaching and they wish that they were able to find another career, but it was just too late to start over. Good morning. Hi. They were saying that it was just too late to start over. It was too late to find another career, and it was just too much to actually go into something else and learn new things and be able to learn a new job. And I just begin to think how many of us get stuck in our situation or get stuck where we are because we feel like it's too late or we are too old. And the thing about it is the enemy uses that as a tool in order for us to stay stuck and in order for to keep us where we are. And at the end of the day, we have to understand, like, we're never too old. God can call us at any age to walk out our purpose and our destiny. It's just that we have to be willing and we have to be obedient to do that thing. We have to trust God enough and say, okay, God, I may be 52 years old, but you're calling me out of the position that I'm in right now during this season, and you're calling me to something greater. And we can't get so consumed with the things of the world and listen to other people saying, no, girl, don't start that business because you're 65 years old. Girl, you know you have too much invested in your 401k and you have your retirement set up. Girl, do not leave that job because it's secure. If I were you, I would not walk off my job because, girl, you know you have that secure paycheck and you know that thing is coming in and that is going to keep you. But at the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves, am I going to operate by the world system and by what somebody else is telling me to do? Or am I going to operate in my purpose, understanding that God is sovereign and I know exactly what he has called me to? So because he's sovereign and he's gone before me, then I know that the plans for my life are to give me a future and a hope. And I know that that is part of a promise. Now, whatever season you're in right now, I know that seasons can be hard, especially when God is calling you and you're like, look, I cannot stand my job. Trust me, I have gone through that season where I was going to work. I loved exactly what I was doing, but I needed something different, and God was calling me off of my job. And the thing about it is, I think that we get confused with our purpose because we'll say, God, like for me, I am an educator. So it's like, okay, God, I love kids. I love doing education, but I don't want to leave the public school system. No, in each season, God is going to call you to something different. So he's not going to take you away from your gift, but he's going to actually assist you, and you will still be working in your gift. It just might look different. So now, no, I'm not going in the public school system to each school and evaluating children, but guess what I'm doing now? I'm working in my own building, owning my own time, and I'm still working with children, except I don't have to answer to anybody. So that thing looks different. So you can be a teacher, but you can be teaching from the pulpit. You can be teaching in the classroom. You can be teaching as a college professor. You can be teaching or coaching others, because all of that is teaching. So don't ever get caught up in being one dimensional and saying, God just called me to this place, because no, that's a lie. He just didn't call you to that one area. He's called you to be an educator or a teacher, or and that's for me. And it looks different, again, like I said, in every season. So we can't get caught up in what it looks like, because what we see is not what God is seeing and not what God has for us. And we are only looking with our carnal eyes, but God is doing something in the spiritual. And he's saying, if you just follow me and do exactly what I told you to do, I'm going to push you and call you into greater. Some of you right now may be in your period where it's like, I'm pregnant. Like, I am about to birth something. And when I was pregnant in my 9th month, like 8 going into my 9th month, I was tired. Like, there was nothing else that I wanted to do. I wanted to sleep all the time. There was pain. There were pains in my hip. Like, I couldn't walk. I couldn't move. All I wanted to do was just lay down. And I was like so stressed out. And I could not get through the pregnancy because I was tired, especially my second pregnancy because of my hip issues. I wasn't able to walk. I had to be in a wheelchair, and it was a grueling process. The other day I posted on social media about the pit. Like, Joseph was dumped in the pit, and sometimes we see the pit as the end result. The pit is not the end result. God is developing you in the pit. And if we mess around and we miss the pit, we won't get to the promise, because it is in the pit stages and in the pregnancy stages where God is developing that baby. And if that baby is pushed out too soon, then guess what? You abort the process, or anything could happen to that baby during the birthing period if it comes too early. So while you're in this pregnancy period, while you're saying, God, I am tired, like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm sick of my job. I'm 42 years old. I know this is not just what you have for me. In this period, your pregnancy period, endure. Let that baby develop on the inside of you. While you're in this pit, let God strip you. Let him develop you. Let him make you into what you're going to be. And during this season, while he's developing you, do the work. Go to work with joy and gladness inside of your heart. And I know that you may hate it, and I know what me is saying is easier for me to say than for you to do, but at the end of the day, you have to be disciplined, and you have to say, God, you gave me this day because this is the day that you've made, and I'm going to rejoice. I'm going to be glad in it. And even though I'm in my pit right now, even though I hate where I am right now, I know that you have something better for me, and I know that you're going to do something great for me, and I know that you're going to bring me out if I'm patient, if I don't faint, if I endure the process. I know that you will take me to the promise. So if you're sitting there right now and you're listening to my voice, endure the process, endure that time that you're in the pit. And if God is calling you off of your job, and if you're tired, then submit to the will of God. I always tell my business entrepreneurs, we operate from a kingdom perspective. So like my girlfriend Lakeisha Dixon always says, in the kingdom, 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. So God is doing something on the inside of you, and he's prepping you. He's getting you ready for what he's about to do for you. So if you're saying, God, I am in this place and I'd rather be comfortable than uncomfortable for what you call me to, you have to step outside of that and understand that God is calling you, and he wants you to say, okay, I don't care how old you are, I'm going to be obedient to the will of God. And obedience starts with you sitting before God and getting into his word and building and developing a relationship with him and saying, God, I trust you. I am obedient, not because I know where you're taking me, but because I trust you and you've already been there. That's why I'm obedient. So don't ever think that you're too old, or you're just have been in a place for so long to do what God called you to do, or to move and to shift into another area. At the end of the day, God doesn't want you in chaos. He wants to give you peace, because that is what he's called you to. Because if you keep your mind on him, he's the God that will keep you in perfect peace. So if you're just anxious right now, whatever you're going through right now, sit before God and get in his will and get that peace. And don't ever think that you're in a place in your life where it's too late, because I've seen God work. Just look, anytime you're going through something in life, understand this. There are always Bible stories to back up what you're going through, or you can read in the word and be like, I'm going through this right now. Like, I understand. I see what they're going through. Sarah wasn't too old to have a baby. Abraham wasn't too old to go. Just like when you understand people in the word and the things that they were willing to do because they were obedient, they were never too old or never just situated in a place where they couldn't obey God. So if he's calling you today, go. Do whatever he asks you to do. This is Ty Lewis. I hope that you're having an amazing day. And understand that whatever God has called you to, he will see you through. And even though you can't see it with your physical eyes, doesn't mean that the promise isn't there. I love you guys, but God loves you so much more. Have a winning day.